Hello, everybody. My name is Ernie, and this is my final proposal package presentation. Some of the points I took from the research phase are that Boyle Heights is a low ownership neighborhood. It's historically been a melting pot for different immigrant groups. Culture and identity are very important to its residents, and they have a strong working class identity as well as an association with the Chicano and Latino culture. There have been different efforts to maintain the affordability of housing in this neighborhood. Recently, the extension of the Metro Gold Line has increased connectivity to other parts of LA, making it even more desirable. And with this came some increased attention to the neighborhood as some new businesses moved into the neighborhood, but not necessarily aimed at catering to the current residents of this neighborhood. Most of the resident units in this neighborhood are single family homes, usually in the bungalow style, and there are also some multifamily homes in the duplex housing projects and apartment building form. And Boyle Heights is an area that is considered to be a high park need area. And also, a lot of the businesses in this particular part of the neighborhood are studios that are in the production, movie productions, art, photography, fashion, all that type of creative industry. Studios are around this neighborhood. So some of the primary areas of interest when designing this project were sustainability, ensuring that durable materials were used, the use of natural light throughout the building, incorporating the arts and its the identity that this neighborhood has around the arts, ensuring that community was one of the driving forces behind this project, and making sure that they had quality amenities as well as green spaces. This kind of shows how I started out with different types of massing for this project, and I kind of ended up going with this staggered massing at first, but then I realized that I wanted to incorporate a courtyard, which meant I had to redesign my floor plan. And this is the massing that I came up with. This kind of shows us the site context. We see the other buildings in our site, and we see the proximity of our site to the 6th Street Bridge. Here, I'm showing my project circulation, access and egress. We can kind of see how that horizontal circulation happens in each floor, and then we see how that vertical circulation happens through the use of stairs and also an elevator. This shows our site circulation, and we kind of see how it all ties together and how we're able to access our parking spaces as well as a street. This shows my programmatic organization. So the first floor is pretty much dedicated to retail and leasing. First, second, third, fourth, and fifth all have livable units. Most second, third being the units that have the most livable spaces, and then fourth, fifth, and sixth are dedicated to amenities. So some of the environmental and ecological factors of this region drove me to incorporate passive cross ventilation, as well as green roof that could collect stormwater and that could be stored and used in irrigation of the site. Also, incorporation of solar panels on the roof and window sun shading. Here we kind of see those design strategies from a different perspective, and we kind of see how it all plays together. Here's our site plan, and we kind of see how all the buildings are communicated to each other and how parking is involved as well. This is my site building section. Kind of allows you to see what's going on in the building as well as what's going on around it. And this is my level 1 floor plan, mostly retail and commercial, leasing in the back, and then a couple residential units. In the middle, we have the courtyard. Here we have our second floor plan, which is mostly livable spaces. There is a amenity here that's a lounge area that kind of has a view of downtown. And then third floor is pretty much the same as the second floor. Fourth floor, this is where we start to introduce more of our amenities. So we have this multi-purpose room that I call the clubhouse with the terrace outside. And we also have some restrooms. And then the rest is pretty much livable space. Here, level 5, this is where we have a game room as well as a gym. And then we have some spaces for co-working with individual cubicle-like spaces, as well as a couple conference rooms that can be used for private calls and meetings. And then this is my green roof. Those of these plant beds where people can have, get together and garden and stuff as a community. And then we have our solar panels in the back. This is my typical studio unit plan. And then this is my 1-bedroom unit plan, which is meant for a couple, with also some work from home spaces. And then this is my 2-bedroom unit plan, which is meant for a family, small family with a couple children. And then this is my 3-bedroom unit plan, which is meant for students or, people moving into the city in their 20s and 30s that want to roommate with other people. This is my 5-bedroom unit apartment, which is meant for a multi-generational family, where on one side we have spaces that can accommodate adults or, parents and children. And then on the other side, we have space that can accommodate a small family. This is an enlarged floor plan of the residential area. We can kind of see how the units are connected by these hallways and then overlooking the courtyard. This is an enlarged floor plan of a shared area. I chose to show the courtyard I wanted to make these spaces that people could really utilize as a community, or also have some space, some privacy. So that's why I kind of divided it up and use these trees to kind of divide the spaces. In the middle, we have the dining table, and then we have these seating spaces on the edges, which are more private. This space right here has a water feature, and then the space on the other end has a fire pit. I also incorporated an outdoor kitchen for people to prep meals and stuff. And this is my building section, and this is my longitudinal building section. It's another longitudinal section, which kind of allows us to see the courtyard spaces. And then this is an enlarged building section of the front of the building. So here we can kind of see the structure and kind of see the different materials used in this building. So for the bottom, I used a metal panel, and then for the top floors, I used a brick veneer, and then for the terrace, I used a stucco material, and then I used a brick for the remaining of the floors. And I try to use different materials to kind of give the building the impression that it's kind of floating. So here you can kind of see that there are lighter materials at the bottom, and then there's the dark brick on top, kind of gives the building this illusion that it's floating. So here we see the back of the building, which is where I put all the mechanical rooms. So these right here are these like mesh-like louvers, which allow ventilation into those units without having to put them on the rooftop, which is where we have our green roof and our panels. And this is a section perspective that kind of allows you to see what's going on in the building and outside the building. So we have some retail spaces at the bottom, our dwelling units. Here we have these lounge areas for the second and third floor. We have our terrace, and then we have a clubhouse. We have our game room on top, and then we have a green roof with our gardens, and the elevator will take you all the way up there. And then our solar panel farm, and of course our courtyard in the middle, which I really wanted to make it bright and colorful, kind of show some of that artistic culture of the neighborhood. And I added these panels, these murals, sorry, and I, added these walls in a bright orange color. And this is an exterior perspective of the building. Again, you can kind of see that the structure is kind of floating due to the contrast in material colors. I also added a mural outside, which I think is very typical of LA. You tend to see a lot of murals. That's very important. So I wanted to add something that was colorful and that was bright and that people could identify. Also, I added some colors to the small balconies, just to make, just add a little bit of fun to the building and not be so dark. And here we see the louvers for the AC units, the entrances to the leasing spaces, to the leasing office, and we kind of see how it all connects to the other buildings, as well as the parking spaces. This is just another view. And then I wanted to add images of different moments going on in the building, just to give you a sense of the culture and how these amenities can really impact the residents of this building, and how they're meant to foster that community. This is my top view of my study model, and this is my northwest and northeast views of my study model, and then this is my southwest and my southeast. That has been my project. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I enjoyed it.